Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Kai. I am one of the directors and co-founders of Church Hunters Limited. I am currently up here in Darwin, so I'm hoping that this one is going to be a nice, exciting one for you, as we're going to be diving into the history of what happened in Darwin through the wars, through everything that's happened through years in Darwin, which has actually been quite a lot. During the end of World War II, Darwin was attacked by the Japanese, resulting in one of the biggest conflicts on Australian soil in Australia's history, which is absolutely insane. So there's a couple museums that we can go check out that show the devastation that was caused by these bombings and attacks. So what happened? In simple terms, Darwin here is the closest place to Japan. So when they wanted to attack, they came over here. And Darwin, poor little Darwin, doesn't have much defense force, and it especially didn't during World War II. So it wasn't great for them. They had a lot of warships placed here. There was a lot going on, and they just couldn't defend themselves, sadly. But they did do very well, considering the Japanese had a lot of force, and it took Australia a little while to get everything up here that was needed. So we had kamikaze bombers come up here, and they were bombing ships in the harbour. American, Australian, all these ships were being bombarded by Japanese bombers and Japanese kamikazes. Eventually they did start attacking on land as well, and it was devastation. A lot of Darwin was actually wiped out by this conflict. To make it even worse, just after the war finished, when Darwin was starting to rebuild from this conflict, they then got hit by the biggest cyclone that has been recorded, called Cyclone Tracy. This cyclone hit Darwin and pretty much wiped out the rest of Darwin that was still standing after the war, which is absolutely insane. So we're going to get to it, and we're going to head up to a museum. I'm going to do some filming, and I'm going to get some pictures for you up there.
So Darwin Harbour, the swimming holes, and then pretty much anything outside those management zones are left alone until they do start becoming problematic. Alrighty, just remember guys, if you're standing up, just stand the way you're seated. Otherwise the boat's on a mad tilt right now, and the crocodiles love that, I reckon, and I don't.
Welcome to Darwin's secret World War II oil tunnels. When we think of World War II in the Pacific, we often picture places like Pearl Harbor or the jungles of Papua New Guinea. But Darwin played a crucial strategic role, especially after Japan entered the war in 1941. As the northernmost city of Australia, it was a vital military outpost. In fact, on February 19, 1942, Darwin became the first mainland Australian city to come under a direct attack by Japanese forces. That bombing raid was the largest single attack ever mounted by a foreign power on Australia. At the time, Darwin was storing fuel, mainly oil, for Allied warships above ground in large tanks. After the Japanese bombing, which destroyed several of those tanks, it became clear that storing fuel in the open was a dangerous vulnerability. The Australian government quickly realised they needed a more secure and hidden solution. That's where the secret oil tunnels come in. Construction began in 1943 on a series of underground tunnels beneath the city, designed to safely store and transport oil away from enemy eyes and bombs. These tunnels were meant to be bomb-proof, protected by the solid rock beneath Darwin. The project was carried out under strict secrecy, with military engineers and civilian workers labouring in the intense heat, humidity, and even flooded conditions. The plan was ambitious, a network of 11 massive tunnels, some over 170 meters long, capable of holding thousands of liters of oil. These tunnels were intended to link directly to Darwin's port, allowing oil to be pumped safely and discreetly to naval vessels. But here's the twist. The tunnels were never actually used for their intended purpose during the war. Why? A combination of construction delays, technical challenges, and the changing tides of the war meant that by the time the tunnels were ready, the immediate threat to Darwin had diminished, and alternative fuel storage systems were in place. So ironically, these impressive engineering feats remained hidden and unused for decades. Today, some of these tunnels have been preserved and are open to the public, like the ones I'm showing you today. If you visit Darwin, you can get a sense for the intense secrecy and urgency that surrounded the project. The tunnels are a powerful reminder of how war shapes infrastructure and how extraordinary efforts were made to protect national security. Darwin's secret oil tunnels are more than just historical curiosities. They represent resilience, strategic innovation, and the ever-present need to adapt during wartime. They are born out of crisis shaped by secrecy and remain one of Darwin's most fascinating wartime relics. Now, let's get back to the outside world and see a little bit more of Darwin and its history.
Alright guys, I have just found a nice little rock perch here. We're up in the rocks on a beach. So I'm going to take a minute while we're nice and relaxed between everything else that I'm going to be doing the next couple of days, getting ready to go back home, getting ready to relax and get back into my full-time job. I thought I'd just take a minute to tell you a little bit about the history of Darwin and how much history it actually has here. So we're going to go through a little bit of that. So Darwin was founded in 1869, relatively later on than a lot of the other states were in consideration. Obviously it does still seem like a long time ago, but in reality it's not really that long ago. It's quite a new area. It was originally founded under the name of Palmerston, which is still a place here. It's just a bit further inland. That is the original founding site of where the settlers came over, and that is where they settled originally. And this area was for the gold rush. Gold rush got very crazy up here. It drew thousands of people up here, which ended up moving and living here. So why is it called Darwin? Basically, when it was first discovered, back in 1839, it was discovered by Europeans on the ship called HMS Beagle, and the area was named Port Darwin. So it wasn't actually the place, they didn't settle, they just discovered it and put it on the map. They named it Port Darwin after the naturalist Charles Darwin, which is obviously very famous. There is also a national park here called Charles Darwin National Park. Sadly, I don't have time to go to it because it would have been amazing. There's loads of war stuff there that we could go and see, but sadly, I'm on my last day here up in Darwin, so we're not going to have time to squeeze that in today. And it was actually named Darwin in 1911 when they joined the Australian Commonwealth. So that is when it officially became Darwin and not Palmerston. And there is so much history that's just been hidden here, then so little is known about it, which is what I absolutely love about being here, is that I can learn so much and be able to teach you guys so much as well. I'm going to go for a last walk around Darwin. I think this is going to be the last bit of the video here, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please follow, like, subscribe. It helps us out a ton, keeps us being able to do all this sort of stuff, get in nature a bit more. I want to try really bring nature into the company to try and promote wildlife coming back, because it is such a big thing in our generation, is to bring wildlife back. But we shall see you on the next video, guys. I am over and out, and I hope you enjoyed.